Welcome back, and thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please have a seat, grab yourself a glass. We're heading back to 1989 and the Tragically Hip. I'll discuss the band, the album, the song selection from the album, and then I'll place the release in context for world events. There was a lot that happened in the world in 1989. Once again, I'm sitting in front of my vinyl record collection, and today I'm excited to talk about one of Canada's most beloved bands, and certainly one of mine, the Tragically Hip! Give it up for the Hip! Now, the Hip visited Halifax, the city I grew up in, often, spanning late 1980s to their final concert in Halifax on April 11th, 2015. Their last Canadian tour was in 2016, the Man, the Machine, the Poem tour. The final concert of that tour was live on TV, radio, digital platforms, coast to coast to coast throughout Canada. With 11.7 million Canadians watching, there was only 36 million people in Canada in 2016. That's about 1/3 of all Canadians tuned in to this live national concert event. Just incredible. My wife and I were glued to our TV for this magical national event, and it was something to watch. The Hip song I'm presenting today is Boots or Hearts from their second LP titled Up to Here. That one right there. There are so many fantastic songs on that LP. No doubt you've heard a few of them. Blow It High Dough, New Orleans is Sinking, 38 Years Old. There's not a bad track on the album, it's just killer. Online, you'll read Up to Here was their first album, but their self-titled 1987 8-song EP was their first, with songs including Small Town Bring Down, Highway Girl, and I'm a Werewolf Baby. And if you can find a live performance of that song online, gotta check it out. It's just crazy good. Back to Up to Here. Their song Boots or Hearts is one of my fave Hip songs. It just seems right for the times that we're living in today. To me it says, the only thing we can agree on is that we can't agree. See the link in the narrative below for a performance of Boots and Hearts from the Misty Moon Tavern. The Hip are from Kingston, Ontario, but all of Canada claims them as their own. They toured back to back and forth throughout Canada so often, and for a time they united us as a country. Through the Hip we felt as one in this large landmass we call Canada. That's a big deal, a very, very big deal. How many bands have this level of unity from the get-go without changing bandmates? Friends to the end, co-creators, constructed songs as a collective, shared the highs, the lows, the copyright, and the fortunes equally. They were and are a band of equals, a band of friends. Now don't get me wrong, they had their disagreements like all bands. Check this out. My wife got me this Hip hardcover autobiography titled This Is Our Life. This book here, you gotta purchase it. It is incredible. I love it. And I'm so thankful that my wife got it for me. I'll read a paragraph out of page 103. This is from Billy Ray, David Coster. In the first year or so, the illusion of them being rock stars wore away, because I just saw that these were 5 regular guys that happened to have lucked out with their music. They liked having a laugh and also had moments with each other, like any group of brothers do, where they're fighting and arguing. You spend that much time together, you don't have disagreements. This is what Gord Downie had written, and this book also includes comments by Gord and all the members of the band. Billy Ray was not only a fresh face, he was a breath of fresh air for us all. His antics were unbelievable. He's considerably younger than we are. He's like our Mel Evans. He's been through thick and thin with us. He probably knows more about the band than I do. He's part of the family. Check the narrative below for the link to watch the Hip discuss their book, This Is Our Life. It's a fantastic interview. You got to check it out. Back up to here. Their song Boots or Hearts is one of my fave Hip songs. Starting with this LP, Up to Here, the lyrics were written by the singer Gord Downie. Man, could he write a lyric. He could rhyme words that no one would ever think of putting in a lyric. Listen closely to Hip lyrics. They're crazy cool, man. Crazy cool. I love them. And I love lyrics. And they could construct them in a way that was just fantastic. But lyrics are only words without the melody and the music. Gord Downie could stand alone as poems, perhaps. I think so. But Hip songs are a full meal deal. You can't go wrong with Hip music. The melody, the vocal performance, the music behind it is just incredible. It's the full package, man. Here are some of the stats for you. The Hip are in the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. They sold over 8.5 million records or CDs, mostly in Canada, I would say. They ceased recording and touring in 2016, but their albums still sell like hotcakes. And this is really cool. Their songs have been streamed 1.2 billion times. Yes, with a B, billion. That's incredible. And you'll still hear their songs on the radio. And man, when it comes on the car, I crank that puppy up, man. There's nothing like it. Gotta love it. And 30 years ago this week, they performed on Saturday Night Live. That was in 1995. That was something special. Check out the link in the narrative below to watch it. It's absolutely incredible. Gord Downie passed away in 2016. I won't get into that. Search the net and your heart will grow more than the Grinch's when he returned all the presents to Whoville. Gord's humanity, his courage, his strength, and how he lived his life right to the end. Man, it's incredible. A person we should all seek to emulate. An inspiration to us all. Seemed like there was no rock star ego there. From all I've heard, none of the Hip had that rock star ego attitude. They seemed to be incredibly nice, down-to-earth people. Down-home folk, as we say here in the Maritimes. That said, like all bands that have made it, there's always people whispering in a band member's ear going, blah, 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 better than sliced bread, blah, blah, blah. Now the Hip had that as well, but they overcame it and they stuck together as friends and bandmates. Here's an example of humanity at its best. Who doesn't love Rick Mercer? This hour has 22 minutes and the Rick Mercer Report. Rick said that Gord Downie called him one day to ask how to correctly pronounce the name the Isle of Morts in Newfoundland. He wanted to use the title in a new song he was writing at the time called The Dire Wolf. Check the link below for the song, it's awesome. Rick said, if you want to know for sure, give my dad a call, and he gave him the phone number. A week later, Rick received a phone call from his dad who said, your friend Gord called and he wanted to know about the time that I took you and your brother to the Isle of Morts. They talked for about an hour and his dad said, he seems like a great guy. Rick said, Dad, don't you know who Gord Downie is? He's the lead singer of Canada's greatest rock and roll band, the Tragically Hip. Rick's father said, no, he just said he was Gord from Kingston. There's no more incredible story than that one. Backed up to here. So, why the Hip song Boots or Hearts? It's the lyrics, the melody, the music, the vocal delivery, and the groove. So cool. Check out the song in the narrative below. And here are a few of the lyrics. See, when it starts to fall apart, man, it really falls apart. Like Boots or Hearts, or when they start, they really fall apart. Fingers and toes, 40 things we share, 41 if you include the fact that we don't care. Now how cool is that? The meaning, The imagery, it's just cool. I love this song. Check it out. So, let's put this song and this album into time and place. What happened in 1989 when the Tragically Hip released their second record, which is their first full-length LP, Up From Here, with the song Boots or Hearts? Well, here's a few things that happened in 1989. 1989 was a turning point in history, deemed the year that changed the world. You can't talk about 1989 without mentioning the murders of 14 women, engineering students at the University of Montreal. These murders spurred on Canadian feminism and Canadian gun control movements. We're still shaken here in Canada by this senseless set of murders. One man stands alone in front of a line of tanks in Tiananmen Square in China. He's calling for an end to violence against a pro-democracy demonstration. This image was sent all around the world at the time. It was historic. The Exxon Valdez runs aground near Alaska and spills 11 million gallons of crude oil. What a disaster that was. The oil covered 26,000 square kilometers of water surface and about 1,000 kilometers of shoreline. The damage was significant. In this image, you see East German border guards breaking down part of the wall that separated East and West Germany. East Germans from this point are allowed to travel to West Germany, and in 1990, both German states unify. Sir Tim Berners-Lee of England invents the World Wide Web. Now, ain't that a www dot really cool, and some may say socially devastating invention.ca? The president of South Africa, Botha, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, and Nelson Mandela meet off-site while Mandela was still in prison to discuss the end of apartheid. Nelson Mandela was released from jail the following year in 1990. 2 million people from Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania joined hands to form the Baltic Way, a human chain stretching 600 kilometers. Their peaceful protest is a demand for independence from the Soviet occupation, part of the Singing Revolution. Lithuania declares their independence from the USSR in 1990, and Estonia and Latvia do a few years later. A little TV history for you. The Simpsons' first episode premiered on TV in 1989. 1989 was a definite eventful year. To listen to the Tragically Hip's music, check out your fave streaming platforms. To watch live recorded performances or videos, search YouTube or check out the website www.thehip.com, and for that we thank Sir Tim Berners-Lee from England for creating the World Wide Web. Also, check out Prime Video to watch the Tragically Hip's docu-series No Dress Rehearsal. It's a must-watch. My wife and I, man, we love it. We watch it a few times. And don't forget, purchase their music on vinyl. There's nothing like listening to music on vinyl, man. Love it. Now I'll play a little of Boots and Hearts for you on the way out. Thanks again for stopping by. And we'll see you next time on Needham Hill's Vinyl Discussion. Check it out. You're going to love it. It's fantastic. Buy the vinyl albums. Listen to the songs. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time. Bye.